If that was in, if Send Me on My Way was in Cocktail, this movie would be so much better.
Dude, that would have made this movie amazing. I would like to hold my little hand.
Flips bottle.
We
will crouch.
I forgot.
As he's coming home from war. Send me on my way.
That would be awesome.
Send me on my way home from war. Send me on my way home from war.
As he's trying to write poems to match the awesome lyrics that song is.
Why does he
anything?
Where is it established in the movie that he is a poet? Because he pulls it out of his fuck ass and then just spews.
Well, they're having like a weird poetry night, and then he just blasts that
out
he
of
can do it.
nowhere, though. Like, it's not prepped. There's no previous thing in the story.
He's not a singer-songwriter.
Him as a. Well, we're getting off track. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better or Worse in the Room. I'm Chris.
I am Nick.
And we watch movies we talk about them, and we sometimes compare and contrast them to The Room, and then at the end we say, is it better or worse? Which one would we rather watch? And later on, we have come up with our own rating system, so we do finally have a rating system, because, obviously when you're watching bad movies, like Tommy Wiseau's The Room, one of the most famous bad movies of all time.
So awesome.
If you watch a movie better, how much better is it? Is it like 1 star better, or is it like 10 stars better? And then, well, that's obvious. That's not right, because we're gonna be, here's the
doing one
from
through
this
100.
From this point on, we're gonna have a 1 to 10 star rating, 0 to 10, 0 to 10,
fair,
0 to 11. Ooh.
11 being reserved for only the best.
I guess 5 would be center.
5.5.
All right. Well, 5 to 10. 0 to 10. Sorry, 0 to 10, because there are 0-star movies.
Yes.
The Room is 5. The Room is 5 because it's our baseline. So from this point forward, we're going to rate some movies. We're going to rate movies at the end, if it's better or worse, and then what star rating. I think that'll work.
I'll tell you
this movie this week.
Yeah, tell me what garbage this movie was.
This week we watched
arguably the worst movie I've ever seen. I hate this movie.
My self-censorship. Anyway, we watched Tom Cruise's Cocktail, 1988. Totally entertaining, says Jeffrey Lyons from Sneak Previews.
He's an idiot.
Also, I'm kind of I'm upset at this box because it doesn't say the catchphrase to the movie or the tagline, which is "When he pours, he rains," which is a
I forgot about that. I think I
repressed
that.
The movie.
I think I repressed that.
Well, before I get into details of the movie, which I've looked at, I'm going to read the back of the box.
Please do.
Tom Cruise is electrifying as Bryan Flanagan, a young, confident, and ambitious bartender who, with the help of a seasoned pro, Bryan Brown, Gorillas in the Mist, becomes the toast of Manhattan's Upper East Side. But when he moves to Jamaica and meets an independent artist, Elisabeth Shue, adventures in babysitting, their vivid romance brings a new perspective to the self-centered bartender's life. Sizzling with high-powered performances and a #1 soundtrack, the box office blockbuster Cocktail has it all. 103 minutes. Color.
Oh, well, so
Thank God.
For my first question, when was he ever electrifying in this movie?
He probably turned the light on or something.
Okay.
I will say at the end of this, #1 hit soundtrack, funny story, Kokomo by the Beach Boys, which is played when he goes to Jamaica, was made for this movie.
Was it really?
Basically, yes.
Wow.
It came out, according to the Wikipedia, it came out on the soundtrack of Cocktail, and then 1 year later,
an full 12 months.
An actual Beach Boys album. So it was on a movie soundtrack for Cocktail before the Beach Boys released it as a legit album.
Wow.
Yeah, in 1989. But it won an award.
Well, that's probably the only thing out of this movie that could have won an award.
Yeah. Well, I got some numbers for you, my friend.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Because I know you did no research on this movie after writing your notes because you absolutely loved this movie.
It's my favorite.
It came out in 1988. Budget, $20 million.
Where'd it go?
Went to Jamaica, so it's mostly moving the cast and crew.
That's all it was getting them there.
There were some fancy bar scenes. I mean,
true.
Some of the sets were pretty nice. Some of the bars were pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, the big dance club bars and stuff. You have to add a lot of stuff. Locational Like, they had a lot of really nice locations.
That's true. That was like one of the good things they had.
Yeah, the whole vacation montage later in the movie were there was some really nice stuff.
Oh, dude, I would have paid money to go there, so I guess they did.
Oh, yeah.
Because in that time, that money would be a lot more, too. No.
Oh, for sure. For sure. 20 million seems like low almost for what this movie is. Would you like to guess the worldwide box office?
Oh, 100 grand.
You're close. $171.5 million. Worldwide. 78 million US. This movie actually did fairly well and definitely made its money back and a lot of profit.
How?
But that's weird considering the scores. Let's go over the scores.
Okay, please, yes.
Google reviews, 79%. IMDb, 5.9 stars out of 10. Now we're getting a little closer.
Okay.
Metacritic, 12%.
Okay, that's even
and
better.
Rotten Tomatoes, 9%.
Good, finally, someone gets it.
The 12 and 9 are definitely closer.
They're the most accurate.
I don't understand the Google review 79%.
I don't get it.
Way too high.
Unless they're rating it out of 200.
Oh, 5,000. 79 out of 1,000.
Over 9,000.
What? 9,000? Yeah. Fucking 79% for Google. That's very strange. I have some other information about this movie because Tom Cruise does a horrible job throughout the entire movie. But here's the funny part.
I didn't notice.
Here's the funny part. Tom Cruise was in Top Gun. Tom Cruise was in The Outsiders. Tom Cruise was in Risky Business.
Wait, was that all before this?
He was also in Rain Man. Rain Man was released the same year as Cocktail. And that has an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. Arguably a very good movie. I have not seen Rain Man, but obviously
everyone's heard of it.
You know, it's Tom Cruise has a brother, Dustin Hoffman, who's like a autistic savant. He's like super smart, can absorb a shitload of information.
Okay.
I've never seen the movie. I just understand it as one of those, like, if you talk about good movie, someone might bring up Rain Man as like a good movie. It's got an 8 out of 10 stars.
Yeah.
That's the same year, 1988, as Cocktail. Top Gun was 1986, 2 years prior. Risky Business and The Outsiders, both 1983. All above a 6.5 star rating. All above.
So what you're telling me is whoever his manager was at the time of Cocktail got fired. Because how did you get me into this?
Well,
why would you do that after Top Gun? That's not.
Yeah, really. Why would you do this after Top Gun? But he did. Tom Cruise did come out and say that it wasn't a shining diamond in his career.
Oh no!
I think were the words. He said he wasn't too happy about him.
Yeah. You know. Okay, that's good to hear. At least he knows.
Mm-hmm. And I have one more before we get into the a little bit more of the plot of the movie.
Yes.
We had a question very early on. Is this pre or post Scientology?
Yes, we did wonder that.
It is post Scientology. Apparently, Tom Cruise had a girlfriend named Mimi something, and she introduced him in 1986. So 2 years prior to this is Mimi Rogers, I think was her name. Was a girlfriend of his and introduced him to Scientology, and I guess he's never left. And now he fucks fishes, and he jumps up and down on Oprah Winfrey's couch. That is a 20-year-old joke now.
It is, but it's still funny and relevant.
I love you, Katie Holmes. I love you. Well, she's taking the kids because she can't handle your sass. Anyway. Oh, I do have right over there the original thesis, L. Ron Hubbard's Dianetics.
Awesome.
On audio tape.
We should listen to that.
I do want to listen to it at some point. I bought that what did I buy it? I bought it at a disc replay in Minnesota.
When we were there?
No. I just happened to be in Minnesota and we were passing a disc replay and I looked and I bought The Departed and Dianetics.
Okay.
Because they had it. It was $2. Like, what the fuck is that? I have to get
buy it.
I know.
At that point,
it was dirt cheap.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It was hilarious.
Real quick, my favorite game when watching any Tom Cruise movie is the how tall do you think the box is?
Because he's standing on because he's only 5 foot fucking. Dude, is he 5'4" or 5'2"? He's short.
I don't remember. It's one of those,
short.
but it was like my first thought every time when you see him talking to someone face to face, you're like, no,
Nah. What
No.
platform heels are you wearing, dude?
That's so funny.
That's 7 inches? 8 inch?
Wow.
Dude, you're going to break your ankle.
Be careful. No wonder he's always got to walk so cautiously.
He's got like those plastic crates that you put vinyl into.
That'd be great.
Just upside down, strapped to the top
Straight
of them.
up stilts. Those
They're
guys
just,
at
like
theme
wrapped
parks.
around his waist, so they're like really short, so they don't show on camera.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's get into the movie.
Let's
Let's get into this trash pile 9%er of a movie.
get into this dumpster fire pretending it's a movie.
So, Back of the Box doesn't necessarily lie about the plot,
no,
but it definitely embellishes a couple things. For one, the fourth word, the word electrifying. No.
yeah, that
no.
never happened. Maybe the sign was electrified.
Tom Cruise, aka Bryan Flanagan, lame, horrible name. Bryan Flanagan is not electrifying. Confident, yes.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
Stupidly confident, yes. To a horrible
narcissistically
fault.
confident.
Yes, he's narcissistically confident to a fault. But I guess that's the enjoyment of most. That's supposed to be the nice part about heroes, is they're X amount of things to a fault. Like you have
That's
to
true.
see something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with this guy.
What do you mean? You mean
Tom
he's
Cruise,
perfect?
Bryan Flanagan is basically an I do no wrong kind of guy in this movie. He even after he knows he fucks up, he doesn't really go out of his way to fix anything. He just leaves the situation until the end of the movie.
Yeah, because we need to wrap it up.
Yes. We got to find some way to fucking hit the end credits of this movie. But he does everything perfectly, basically.
Yeah, that's true.
Aside from a couple times.
Yeah, I have something written about that in here. It's like this guy never does anything. Something exactly about that.
Enunciate, motherfucker.
I said there's something about the guy. He never does nothing. I was looking at a note when I said it. Don't you make fun of my problems.
My cleft palate. No, you don't have.
I love this note. Nothingness.
There's also it does say a young, confident, and ambitious. Yes. Bartender? No. He's not ambitious about bartending. He don't give a fuck about bartending.
He's ambitious solely about
at the
money.
beginning of the movie, Tom Cruise is basically like being escorted / on a journey. We presume home, and we find out that he's going back to New York, where he used to live, post-war. What war? Don't know. Was there a war going on in the 80s?
It came out after Top Gun. So
was that the Gulf War? Is Bryan Flanagan Maverick from Top Gun?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Oh my God.
It's the life he lived afterward, and that's why he's so perfect.
This is after he got home from the Top Gun trainings and the movie. He was like, I gotta
This is the in-between.
rest.
This is the in-between.
Yes, this is the in-between of Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. Wow. We've come to a conclusion.
All right, cool. Thanks for listening.
We find out he's coming home from the war. We assume the Top Gun war, whatever war that was.
Yes.
War Top Gun, which is nice. And he goes back to an old bar that we find out is run by his Uncle Pat.
Yes, and it's more like a dive bar in this case.
Yeah, it's a little dive bar, and he's kind of talking like he wants to figure stuff out. He wants to, get a big job and be a millionaire. He's got some... Bryan Flanagan does not shut up about his want to be a millionaire. Like some overly rich guy with all the women in the world, all the stuff in the world, everything. He wants everything. He's a glutton for materialism.
Yes.
He that's all he wants. That's all he gives a shit about. And he, I guess he doesn't really like the fact that even though he came home and he's at his uncle's bar, he still gets charged $1 for beer after coming home from war. He's actually kind of mad about that.
He's all upset. It's like, dude. And his uncle even makes the best comment, best line in the whole movie. You don't get rich giving away free stuff.
That's true. That's facts. He even has an entire... Uncle Pat comes up with like this entire thing. He's like, you know what? You want to know how to make millions? You got to do it the hard way. You never buy a drink for anybody at the bar. Like, never give discounts.
Yep.
Always be a hard ass. Like, he gives him a bunch of like not good advice.
Accurate, but not good.
Yeah, those are kind of things that just happen. Like, if you look at CEOs and stuff now, they're not necessarily nice people. They don't go out of their way to do anything good.
No, they do their job.
But because of that, they have a shitload of money. Because usually super rich people are relatively frugal in funny ways.
Yes.
Yes, they have things and they buy like $1 million yachts and stuff, but you'd be surprised.
But to fix their roof, they don't want to pay $200.
There's a great way to find out how weirdly frugal rich people are. I'm certain there's some sort of subreddit out there of like, there are Starbucks. Ask Starbucks people about tippers. Okay. Ask Starbucks people about tippers, especially around here, where there's like rich assholes.
No, rich people don't tip.
Rich people do tip well under where they should, like $1 or something like that. Right. I've heard horror stories from people of just be like, that person comes in with a fucking Ferrari every day and they give me $1. Dude, and they complain about all of their coffee. It sucks.
I work in the kind of business where I work for very rich people and people who just need something fixed.
Yeah.
And
well, roofing is all over the place. I was
gonna say with people who have like a beater car in the garage that barely works and the roof is falling apart and they can hardly pay me, they give me a big old tip. But the rich person who has the biggest house I've ever seen and all the cars
with 18 different roofing styles.
Yeah, they're nice to me, but then they complain that it was $200 for me to climb 100 feet up your roof.
$200, dude.
It's like, dude, what do you mean to? Anyway,
you know what these kind of people remind me of? The kind of Wall Street bastards.
Wall Street.
Wall Street. The reason we're talking about Wall Street is because Brian Flanagan decides that the only way that he can get super rich is he's going to get a job on Wall Street. As anything, really.
Oh, that's right.
Like, there is what I lovingly deemed the failure montage.
It's the best one.
Brian Flanagan going to every single Wall Street business he could possibly go to, and every single one turns him down. You have no college education. You don't have any experience. It's going to take too long to train you. Yeah. You're not what we're looking for.
Yeah, you suck, in other words, in every way.
Everything you could possibly think of to just say, get out of my place of business, we don't care about you, was said to him during this failure montage, which is like a solid minute.
And he never cried.
Not yet.
Not that we saw.
Not yet.
He's too strong.
Because he walks into a small bar.
You're right.
With a
That's right.
a funny-looking Aussie named Doug Coughlin.
Which one was that again?
Doug Coughlin, the only Aussie in the entire movie.
I didn't hear you say that part.
A.K.A. David Brown from Gorillas in the Mist.
Oh, never seen it. You'd be one shot short of a Bobby if you didn't.
Yeah, this is a knife.
Thank you.
You know, Gorillas in the Mist. This is a knife. Yeah. You know,
great movie.
And this Aussie, kind of, he's doing like fantastical things. He's spinning around bottles as he's talking to Brian Flanagan's.
He's like the Benihana of bartenders.
Well, he's flipping things around and telling him like, have you ever drank this before? And, have you ever done these things? And Brian's basically just trying to see, like, do you have any position open? I need a job. And Doug is kind of playing the whole, like, are you even up for this? What do you want to do with this? Have you ever heard of these things? And the way Doug talks throughout this movie, I would describe as flamboyantly metaphorical.
Okay, yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying about that?
I think so.
Everything he says has like a whimsy to it, and it all like flows through. He there's a lot of things that he like equates to other things, and he's always just like talking these like colloquialisms and little like little bits of like phrase and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everything's like flowy. Nothing's like, I had a bad day today. Nothing's like
it's
Joe
almost,
Schmo
it's almost
stuff.
Like a dream.
Yeah, it's very non-reality sounding.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard. I didn't write down any specific quotes or anything because everything he says is some sort of whimsical metaphor.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
It's strange.
I didn't notice that until you just said it, but yeah, thinking back now, it really was. There was nothing that was ever straightforward.
No, it's all over the place. But they get to talking a little bit. Cryptic. A little bit. They get to talking a little bit, and Doug offers Brian a job as a bartender. Oh. And he kind of gives the whole, I guess I'll try. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
And smash cut. Fucking smash cut. To one of the most chaotic bars of all time.
Ever.
Because the first time when Doug first walks into this, it looks like closing time.
Yeah.
Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
Yes.
Closing time. Closing time.
It's time to get out. Go.
You can't stay here. That's with Blink-182 saying it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Don't have to go home. But all the bars are up, and it's only Doug behind the bar, so it's empty. Completely empty. It's silent. There's no music playing. They're just talking. To immediately loud, like people yelling. Screaming at the top of their lungs. Blasting music. Great soundtrack, though.
Yes,
I will say. The whole
agree with
soundtrack
that.
of this movie is fucking good. It's
the only
really
good.
good.
It was the only good part.
Yeah. The whole thing. I really enjoyed it top to bottom.
Yes.
There were no like bad songs
No.
in the entire
You're right.
movie. It was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
A little cheesy at times, but
Had to be. It's
you go to
80s.
Jamaica, Kokomo plays. That's kind of like a oh god.
But it came out before it came out.
Well, it came out. This is the movie that
that's what I mean.
that started
So
like
it
that
worked.
cliche of like playing Beach
Okay.
Boys around a beach thing. I
That makes
assume.
sense.
I assume. I do
I'm
not
with
know,
you.
but I would assume that that's probably like one of the like earlier examples of that happening,
I would
because it
agree
is
with that.
legitimately Kokomo by the Beach Boys in Jamaica. So, and people are screaming to the point like Bryan is super flummoxed. He's running around. He's like picking up bottles and putting them down. And he's clearly sweating profusely. And he's just trying to scream and he screams out loud, "Listen, you bitch!" to one of the girls that's trying to like deliver drinks.
Yeah.
Shut up and wait a second.
That's right. He did yell that right
And
at
then
her
she's
face.
like taken aback, like, "What? How dare you?"
Yeah.
And he points to one person and says, "What do you want to drink?" And he says, "A martini." And Bryan says,
How do you make that?
"What's in that?"
Oh, yeah. What's in that?
He got hired without even knowing how to make a martini. That's nuts.
An olive. Hurry up.
Well, it's martini and olive juice, shaken or
Not
stirred. I don't know. You could-
Shaken.
either
not
way.
stirred.
But I do like a good martini. But that's all it is. It's vodka, olive juice. That's it.
Oh.
Basically.
Or you
I'm
can
sure
use
there are
gin.
more.
You can use gin
There are other
too.
things you could put in
Is
a
it gin?
fucking- I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of like the most basic, like just make it
The
super
poor
quickly
man's
yourself.
one.
The poor man's martini is just get some Marziotti or Melziotti, whatever, green olives. Pour some of that in some vodka, shake it around a little bit, and shoot it down your gullet.
The best way. Chris, I forgot to ask you something right about the very beginning of the movie. I totally forgot about to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you remember it starting?
How
Or
do I
did
remember it
appear
starting?
To start? It appeared as if there was a police chase going on.
Yeah.
And then they ended up at the bus station and
past
everyone
that.
was I know, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, it was weird. We thought he was gonna get chased. He was getting chased by the cops, like he was starting off as some like bad boy or something.
Yeah.
But that was not the case because he's coming home from war.
I just wanted
Blah,
to bring
blah,
that
blah,
up.
blah.
I wanted to. It was
Yes.
an important thing to me.
Now, after the "what's in that" line,
Yes.
we get another nice smash cut to a very gross scene.
The
Of
socks.
Tom Cruise taking off one of his socks and wringing the sweat out of it.
And alcohol. That's supposed to be
And
the
alcohol.
too.
That is really gross.
Yeah.
Like it's a full. It's like
It's a full drink.
He dunked his sock into a pool or something and squeezed it out. And he looks fairly miserable, as you would be after a hellish night that was.
Yes.
And the bar maid. I don't fucking whatever.
The
it is.
lady, yeah.
The lady that he called a bitch
Yes.
earlier on in the previous scene walks up to him and hands him the tips for the night. To which he's like, "No, I don't deserve it. I don't need it. I did horribly today." He's like, "Nah, just take it." And she walks out. He says, "I'm sorry for calling you a bitch." She goes, "Why? I am a
one.
bitch."
Yeah.
And winks at him. I thought that was an awesome line.
That
Why?
is. It's
I am a
like-
bitch.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
I
woo,
like you. You're awesome.
owning up to it.
Where's the rest of you in this movie? Because she shows up like one more time and then she's gone.
That's right. The best character gone in an instant.
I think she is the best character. Who knows? Bitch bartender lady.
Bitch tender.
Bitch bartender. And we, Doug is behind the bar And he says, be happy. She doesn't normally give money to anybody.
That's right. She did say that.
Because apparently she like holds, and he's like, if she does that, she probably likes you. I think you'll make it. And Doug's like, well, see, I called her a bitch. Wouldn't you think she'd be mad? And I have an amazing, or no, he said, I thought she would hate me because I called her a bitch. To which Doug says, wait until you're giving them crabs. Then you'll know hatred.
Oh, I remember that line. That was great.
That's right. A fantastic line right there.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't wrong.
Yeah.
It isn't wrong.
It's not wrong. So after all this stuff, I know this Bryan Flanagan person is working at the bar, but apparently they're also going to college. What was the point of any of those college scenes? There are many.
To prove that he didn't need it.
Not that he didn't need it, that he didn't want it, I think.
And then remember when they wrote their own obituary, and he was so happy to read it off.
One of the things... so for all,
narcissism.
The beginning like 30 to 40 minutes of the movie is basically going back and forth between Bryan is at the bar learning from Doug. They are bottle dancing, basically pouring drinks and throwing it around, doing all that stuff. Oh, after the first day when he does absolutely terribly, he is immediately a genius.
Literally, I have that right here. It says
instantaneously amazing.
Yes, right. I've said 30 minutes in, everything is just absolutely perfect. It took him just 10 minutes to learn how to make every drink on the planet.
Pretty much.
It was like
he went from day 1 to
not
day
knowing how to make
300,
a martini. Yeah.
Because he was definitely doing some crazy things, which, I don't know. The movie moved too fast for that. It was way too fast.
Yeah, that's true.
But one of the intermittent scenes between bar and the school is his literary teacher told him, you have to write your own obituary, basically, like not like what you would want it to be, the thing that you would hope that people would write about.
Yes.
And he goes back to the bar and he's doing his assignment, and Bryan Flanagan, the narcissistic asshole that he is, wrote that he would die at the age of 99.
Yes, that's right.
A billionaire.
Yes.
On his yacht.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-coitus.
Yep.
With his brand new 18-year-old 7th wife. That's what he said that his obituary was. He's a billionaire, 99, own yacht, 18-year-old 7th wife. He is laughing the entire time when he says it, so I don't know if he's narcissistic to the point where he believes
in
that.
a weird way.
It does. Kind of fit his character.
Sounds like what he wants. Money, 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 and everything that comes with it.
Yeah. And that's one of the only scenes where he's like seen laughing at himself.
Yeah.
But every other time he's like super serious about what he wants to do and the fact that he wants to be a millionaire and do everything absolutely right. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That scene almost doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't.
It kind of does, but it kind of doesn't.
It's like a backside of him we didn't see any other time.
None.
It was like, maybe here's a little window into who he is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help because how do we know if that's real or not?
Exactly. It does feel very fantastical, like it's not real.
Yes.
Let's push it further, because this is another part of the movie that makes it feel fantastical and not even close to a real world. They're bottle dancing, and after they finish like this 2-minute choreographed like thing, the circus say, some dude just walks up and said, like, he wanted to like acting like some sort of a talent agent or something. That's right.
For a different bar or a club
totally
or something.
I want you guys to work for my bar.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're just gonna close down this one?
Yeah, it's like, what is it? What is it?
We're owner and only bartender. What about our staff? Does Doug's... Here's a question. Does Doug still own the bar when they're not there?
Probably.
Is the bar still running?
Do they ever go back to that one?
Because they never... I think they do.
So then, yeah, he probably does then.
Does he?
That's all he... That's what he does.
So they're at Doug's bar, whatever it's called.
Doug's bar.
Dougie's bar. They eventually get hired by this weird talent guy who's like... Who looks like a Scrooge. He looks like an ass.
Yeah,
but somehow I guess it it works out, and they go to this huge, snazzy, like, nightclub bar.
Yeah.
And it's immediately not going great for Doug and Bryan.
That's right.
They're struggling to get anybody to get a drink. Like, they're visibly like, fuck, we can't, nothing.
Right.
Like, to the point where I think Bryan starts yelling, does anybody want a drink? Like, kind of fed up. Like, he's done. Like, this may be the bad decision. Like, this is not what he wanted to do. Like, his dream of being a 99-year-old billionaire on a yacht, dead, post-coitus with an 18-year-old seventh wife. This isn't the way it's going to happen. But and then one of the weirdest things I've ever seen happens. A poetry slam? At a nightclub?
But wasn't it prefaced by something? Anything? Didn't someone say there was poetry night? No?
Some nerdy looking guy
with a briefcase
walks up some steps in a nightclub, and he yells to the crowd basically that he has a poem that he wants to read. Yeah. And apparently this is like a huge thing for this nightclub because everyone, without missing a beat, stops all of their conversations.
All the music
stops. They all pay attention. 100% of the crowd pays attention to this one nerd who I don't even remember what he talked about.
I don't either. I know he was there because he had a briefcase and a suit in a club, which was very out of place. Everyone seemed to love this guy like he was someone special.
It was kind of ridiculous. So I guess Tom Cruise decides that the only way to get people back on his side is to, I guess, yell a poem. So he stands up on the bar and then whistles to the crowd. Whoo!
Like a dad whistle.
And everybody looks at him, and he, off the cuff, makes up an entire 2 to 3, 4 minute long poem.
Like, legitimately, full minutes were used up in the movie time for this poem.
And he uses different drink types, cocktails, beers, whatever, spirits.
Bar lingo.
And uses it and like wraps them all together and kind of captures the crowd. However, why would he be a poet?
And also,
I feel like that should have come up early. I feel like we talked about this right at the beginning of the video, or podcast. How the poetry shit doesn't really make sense. He says 2 poems in the entire movie. Both are very well written and come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and one of them is booed when he brings it up. Like we thought when he says, and a poem, and we went, and the whole crowd in the movie goes, boo, like that. It's like, okay, at least we're not alone.
He finishes this long-winded, fairly competent poem about drinks, and he wins the bar over. And everyone's cheering, and they're going crazy, and then they start getting into that groove again like they were in Doug's bar.
Yes.
They got it. Yeah. Shit's going.
It's going good.
But now, women's is noticing.
Ooh.
Their eyeballs widening. Their teeth a-showing because they's is smiling wider than I'd ever seen before.
I ever done saw nothing like that.
It's almost like they had hooks in their mouths because they were just super wide smiles. And one catches his eye and wants to take a picture of him because she's apparently a journalist.
Yes.
I don't remember her name. Let's call her Janet.
Okay.
Janet the journalist. Wants to take a picture because he is the new hotness. He just showed himself to be super charismatic, very confident in his abilities. And Doug walks over and kind of tries to add himself into the picture.
Photo, yes.
And Janet, the journalist, is not having it. She doesn't.
There's not enough room in the photo. Sorry.
Insert the first seed of doubt in the entire movie of, hey, maybe their professional career might split them. That's what I thought.
So real quick, before you move on, just everyone, if there's a visual, take that seed Chris is talking about, dig a little hole, bury that seed.
Bury it.
And now, just like the movie has you do, just wait on it.
Just sit there. Anyway, so that's the first seed of doubt of I don't know if these guys are going to work it out or anything.
Correct.
But that remains to be seen until later in the movie.
Yes.
So this Janet the journalist, I guess, catches Brian's eye so much that they go to her place and they literally roll around in sheets.
Yes,
literally.
No, like literally.
That is not a euphemism.
Anakin and Padme rolling through the flowers.
Yeah. I hate saying it gets everywhere. Rolling. That's it. They didn't boink.
Nope.
They basically laughed, and
it looked
they
like
rolled.
a lot of fun.
It did kind of look like fun,
but
yeah,
it's not what the scene you're expecting.
It was long too. Not the room sex scene long.
No, that's 30 minutes.
It was much quicker than that. But it felt awkwardly long.
Yeah, because it only
they rolled for like 30 full seconds.
It literally needed a couple of ha 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 roll back and forth. Done.
Yeah.
I got the idea.
Yeah. So they're done.
Yeah.
He finished quickly. I assume
very quickly.
And
took one blanket's throw away.
Yeah. He wants to dip out and he leaves and I guess the next day they're back at the bar because of course this movie is bar whatever scene bar whatever scene bar whatever scene
always
bar whatever
back
scene
to the
bar
bar.
whatever
Just
scene
know
bar
that.
Failure montage, vacation montage, bar, back whatever
bar
scene
montage.
And we get back and we see Brian and Doug. They're doing their crazy stuff right back at the nightclub bar. They're enjoying themselves.
Yes.
And in comes Janet, the journalist, except she's over by Doug now. And Brian takes a quick peek and sees Janet smooching Doug.
Hardcore smooching.
Smouching.
Smouching. Face.
They were vacuuming
hoovering.
each other's mouths with their mouths.
That's hot.
They were going deep.
That's
good. And Brian he's not too keen on that.
What? I thought he liked pineapples.
Are you telling me he's not a swanger?
Are you not?
Every time. Anyway, Brian, not having it. Not a big fan.
No, I wouldn't be either.
Confronts Doug pretty much right then and there. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, bro.
Bro, you were my bro.
What happened?
Why aren't you broing? And Doug comes up with this. He's got a weird. Doug has a weird thing where he wants to he wants to give Brian advice, but the way he goes about it is incredibly damaging to a person.
Yeah.
He basically said, "Told you not to fuck with her. She's just going to turn on you." Because he forced it. He told her he had warned Brian during like a basketball match or whatever. They had their Tommy Wiseau and Mark throwing the football scene, but with a basketball. Oh, I was thinking about this over the weekend. Brian Flanagan is Tommy Wiseau. Brian Flanagan is Johnny, and Doug is Mark. Because they're both fighting over a woman later.
Yes.
This woman right now they are fighting over, so they are literally Johnny and Mark, but later on also become Johnny and Mark, but in a separate situation over a separate person.
That's true.
Yeah, this is almost exactly a better version of Johnny v. Mark. But at least for right now, it is actually that, where Brian has girl and Doug comes in, but it's like jumping to the end of the movie where they already know they're fucking with each other.
Right.
And they have it out. Brian punches Doug square in the mouth.
Right in the mouth.
And the entire bar goes dead quiet, which is pretty good. That's pretty good.
Doug.
And Doug pulls a broken bottle.
Fucking broken. A shiv.
Yeah, he made a shiv. Brian was like, "Do it. Cut me, man. Cut me. What are you, weak? Fuck you. Do it."
Yeah, it's like, dude, calm back. He might do it.
He might actually kill you, bro.
He's an Aussie. He's got... Never mind.
But Brian basically just says, "Fuck it. I'm out." And he leaves. And a little bit earlier in the movie, we saw a scene between Doug and Brian where Brian has this whole dream. Obviously, he wants to be a millionaire.
Well, and obviously Doug was making a drink.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that super quickly.
Okay.
Doug, the bartender of Dougie's Bar, whatever bar it is.
The mentor, if you will.
The mentor of Brian Flanagan.
Yes.
Every single scene he is in, without exception, to my knowledge,
that I can
recall at all. There might be one. He is either smoking a cigarette,
making
a drink, or both of those things.
Almost
in every single scene.
one, the other, or both.
Yeah, one,
Venn
the other,
diagram.
or both. Every single scene, he has one. I don't know if it's contractually obligated.
Like Taylor Lautner taking his shirt off.
We'll get to it later, but even at the end of the movie, he still has a drink and a cigarette.
You are right.
We will get to it.
You are right.
Every single one. So let's get back to the scene that I wanted to talk about super fast. Brian has the dream of becoming a millionaire, and the way that he wants to do that, now that he's into the bartender stuff, is he wants to open his own bar. Clearly, being talent scouted nearly instantaneously, let's say day 2 of working at Dougie's bar.
After magically learning how to make all the drinks in the world.
So he knows he's got the chops. Janet, the journalist, obviously wrote something about it in the newspaper. So, and on the back of the box, according to this, he is the toast of Manhattan's Upper East Side.
Toast.
So he's clearly quite, wanted. I would assume a lot of people want him to work at his bar, or if he opened his own bar, he would be able to get some stuff going. And make a very profitable business.
And you're talking about when him and Doug were talking about that, right?
Yeah, they were kind of creating the thing, and they came up with the absolutely terrible name of Cocktails and Dreams.
That's a brilliant name. What do you mean?
It's kind of shitty.
I hate
Cocktails
it.
and
No,
Dreams.
I hate it.
It
sounds kind of porno-like.
It's bland.
Sounds like, I know.
It's really bland. They should have just called it Cocktail. Flanagan's Cocktails. That's it.
That would have been way better.
Because at the end,
cocktails would have been even more drawing because you don't have to read anything else.
Spoilers, he does make it in the end, and he calls it Flanagan's Cocktails and Dreams. Flanagan's in giant letters, which actually looks really good. If it was just Flanagan's, that would be better.
That would be way better.
It does kind of sound like an Irish bar, but it is a fairly fancy looking bar and everything. But
there are boxes to tap dance on because Tom Cruise needs them all over the place.
But they were gonna go in business together to make Cocktails and Dreams. 60-40 split, a gentlemanly 60-40 split.
Hey, it's fair. He has all the experience.
That is true. Doug's experience and his confidence, they could go together. But now that Doug decided to fuck with his girl and go behind his back and try to treat him and try to show him a very harsh lesson in a very poor way, he's out. He's fucking off.
See ya.
And Brian said, I'm off to Jamaica, because in Jamaica he can make a ton of money as a bartender. He can get all the money he needs to open his own business, and he'll be good to go without Doug's help. Fuck you.
Does that sound super logical?
Jamaica, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, to Key Largo, Montego. I wanna take you down to Kokomo. Take it fast and then I take it slow.
If I remembered any of the lyrics, I would have sang with you.
It is a great transition where you're going from Brian punching Doug in the face, going "fuck you" immediately into Kokomo by the Beach Boys, and you're just
how angry everyone was.
You're just over this gorgeous island life, and Tom Cruise is behind another bar in a Hawaiian shirt, looking like he rules the world. And then immediately that's thrown to the wayside because obviously he has to help somebody because somebody's dying on the beach.
That's right. They're dying on the beach. And
someone is dying on the beach. Can I get your phone? No, I'll help you. And he jumps the bar because he's a badass.
Yeah, remember he puts his foot up on... I think people would be very upset by that.
People were very sad. Also, you should never leave a bar unattended.
Bad
ever.
idea.
You should always have somebody there.
Always.
But he, being the better guy, runs out and helps out this woman because there's somebody on the beach, her friend, that wasn't breathing. They called an ambulance. Yes. And he kind of exchanges pleasantries with this woman, Elisabeth Shue from Adventures of Babysitting, a.k.a. Jordan. It took a long time. It took a long time for us to remember her name. Jordan. Of which we didn't get until like way at the end of the movie.
Right.
Jordan is her name. And he kind of plays the flirtatious card with her. And she eventually does come back to his bar.
She does.
And they kind of, hit it off a little bit. So maybe it's
pretty
working
attractive.
out. Yeah. And I think where this takes place, time wise, is like a full 2 or 3 years after the fight happens.
I wish we would have known that.
I think it's an off comment. It's an offhanded comment by Doug.
Oh, that I missed
because while Brian is talking to this new woman, Jordan.
Yes.
In comes Doug Coughlin.
Doug Coughlin.
The Aussie.
The one who almost stole his...
The one that messed with him, forced him to leave to go to Jamaica by himself, and pretty much just forget a business partner entirely. And
That's a good teacher, though. He learned the lesson, right?
I don't know.
It worked.
I mean, kinda.
I mean, I don't think that's a good way of doing. Again,
Kinda. It's not the smartest thing to do. So, Doug does have one great comment. When he's walking up to the bar, Bryan is looking away because he's making a drink for Jordan.
Yes.
And Doug walks up to the bar and goes, "Do you want to see a grown man cry?"
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Hey,
right.
bartender. and he calls to Bryan, and Bryan turns and basically laughs and goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" Like they're old friends.
Like we're not mad at each other. I didn't come all the way here just because you drove me here.
Yeah. And he's not the happiest to see him.
No,
but not pissed.
No, it's kind of like he's weirdly in reserved, but like excited.
Like he's neutral.
Yes,
but like jovially neutral. Like he's putting on the happy face because this woman who's right in front of him is really nice and he likes her.
Yes.
So he's kind of putting on the front and basically asking like, "What the fuck what are you doing here?" He's like, "Well, I got married, and that beautiful lady over there is who I married.
Yeah,
she's a millionaire."
Oh,
so he married into money, which is something that Doug told Bryan never to do.
More than
multiple times earlier on in the movie. One of the main reasons why he fucks with Janet is because she is a millionaire, I believe.
Yes.
Like she's like the daughter of a conglomerate or something. And he said, "Don't fuck with millionaires. They're just going to replace you and throw you away." Yet, 2-3 years later, Doug marries a millionaire lady who gives the fuck me eyes to everyone.
Dude, she's making out with 3 people in one scene.
Yes. I don't know what's that relationship like. I have no idea. But Doug calls his wife over and she's in this she's in skimpy bikinis like the entire movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was in her contract, I guess.
That's her role.
There was one that was just like singular string.
Yeah, it was
like
dental
the backside
floss.
of a thong all over.
Yeah, dental floss.
Yeah.
Just tied
awesome.
together.
It was a little awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to lie.
It was the 1980s. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
She had a nice butt.
Boing. Swing, 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 swing. No, it was pretty nice. She didn't do anything for the movie aside from just be there.
And prove that Doug couldn't take his own advice.
Yes. Doug could not take it. He was unfortunately unable to take over and take on his own advice. So we find out Doug is married, and the Bryan kind of like gets away with new girl Jordan.
Yes.
And they kind of start getting together a little bit, and they're walking down the boardwalk and they're making out, and they're liking each other, and they're like pushing each other down on the playground because that's what you do.
Yeah,
you hit her in the face with a dodgeball because it's cute,
Hit her on the head with a wrench.
And then horses on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Horses on the beach and the vacation montage. Because within a couple hours of Bryan meeting Jordan, they were immediately like, I don't know, years into a relationship, even though it's been a weekend?
If even.
It hasn't even been a couple days. Like, this movie blasts forward into such weird degrees that I cannot tell how much time has passed between some scenes. Obviously, going from day one at bar to amazing at bar probably took a year, let's just say.
Yeah, but they don't give any indication of anything.
Does any movie really?
Yes, usually with a little bit of facial hair growth or something. And then they get rid of it.
A little subtitle that says 1989 or something.
Anything.
1985.
Something, yeah. Or they have someone make a passing comment of like, oh, it took the last 5 years to do this or something. So you know.
Just a tiny comment. Which is how I know that the Jamaica stuff is 2 to 3 years later because Doug says, it's been 2 or 3 years.
That's
I got married.
I do
or
remember.
In the 2 or 3 years, I've gotten married.
Yeah.
So vacation movie. At this point, this is a good spot. During this whole horses on the beach vacation montage, and Bryan explaining to Jordan that he wants to be a rich motherfucker.
Yeah.
With all the greatest stuff in the world. I wrote down, get to the end of the movie. Because at this point, we were bored.
Dude, I think
this movie is kind of starting to get graining. I also wrote, it's all montages.
So I think, okay, so I think...
this movie is half montage at this point.
I think you said that as I was writing these couple of notes, because I have, and I'm just going to quote my writing. This movie is fucking stupid. Nothing plot driving has happened yet. 51:27. I hate this movie. Fuck this montage. It's a dumpster fire pretending to be a movie. And also, nothing has happened yet.
No, nothing. Everything has been fine. But finally,
Tears.
Sadness. Finally, during sadness, something happens. Something happens.
By the way, that's an hour into the movie.
This is like an hour. This is an hour and 40-minute long movie that could have been brought down to maybe an hour,
if even
an hour 10.
Yeah,
it could have been severely shortened.
Oh yeah,
because that vacation montage is like 10 fucking minutes.
It's way too long.
It's so long. But something finally good happens. Bryan likes Jordan. Jordan is nice. Jordan is cool. Jordan is homely, normal.
Yes.
He likes her very much. But he's working at a bar. A lot of people are there. In comes some hooty-tooty, super rich lady.
Yeah.
Who everyone knows is like, don't fuck with her. Don't even make a pass. It's not worth it. You're going to get your ass handed to you. And they place a bet, these couple of guys and Bryan place a bet basically stating, if I can put the moves on her, you owe me money. Like X amount of $100, whatever it was. Basically, can I put the moves on her without being horribly rejected?
Yeah.
And he goes over, starts smoozing her up, asks her what kind of drink, fancily makes her a drink. And
with a story about it.
With a whole story.
And it's kind of it's kind of on the edge.
Oh, of course. Because he's playing it flirtatious.
Yes, he is.
He wants to get in her pants. And, she takes it smiling. And after he's done with his spiel, basically said, do I look stupid to you?
Does she know, do I have fuck me written on my forehead?
Do I have fuck me written on my forehead?
That was exactly, because I was like,
that's a good
whoa.
Quote. Do I have fuck me written on my forehead? And he kind of goes, ooh. But he saves it. How? One of the coolest things I've seen in a movie. This scene, I wonder if you could look it up.
Probably.
After he walks away, the woman, Bonnie, we figure out her name is,
yes,
Rich Lady
right.
Bonnie, pulls out a cigarette and she's about to light it. As she pulls the cigarette out, Bryan pulls out a matchbook, lights it, and then throws the matchbook to her, and it lands with one match straight up. So she can light her cigarette. It is smooth.
That is,
It's
so
that
was cool.
Smooth,
that was cool as shit.
Dude. It's like, if I saw that in real life, I would go,
that guy's getting laid tonight by me. That was.
I'm going home with him.
Do you see what he just did with that?
Imagine
match?
what he can do.
Dude, if he can do if he has that much control over a delicate thing like fire.
It was pretty cool. I was a little blown away by it.
I was a little awestruck.
A little bit. Wow. Tom Cruise can do something cool, even though his teeth aren't in the right place.
Dude, but, once you know that.
Yeah. It's really hard not to see because he smiles through this whole movie and you can see his two front teeth are off center.
Yes.
Oh, it's hilarious. So he's schmoozing her up and gets to ending time, and he is kind of waddling around with this woman. And in walks Jordan because she knows he works at the bar and his shift's almost over, and she sees him with Bonnie. Obviously distraught.
Oh,
shooty poops. She walks away.
Idiot.
She's sad. She sits on the beach alone.
Cries.
Very slow zoom up, close up to her face, crying. Rightly so.
Fair.
Next morning, Bryan wakes up in Bonnie's bed, and he looks also distraught. And he runs to Jordan's house. But she's not there no more.
No, where did she go?
She went back to New York. She took a late night flight or a morning flight to get the hell out of there. And that kind of bummed him out. You know, the one girl that he really liked, she liked him.
Yes.
And he fucked it up.
Yeah, he did.
He fucked it up because he's a narcissistic weenie.
Who just cared about money, so he took a bet over a human's feelings.
It was awful. It was
hate him.
It was super dickish of him.
Yeah.
He pulled a Doug.
He did.
He pulled a Mark.
Yes, he did.
Son of a bitch.
Oh my God, it's all coming back full circle.
It's full circle to Mark. He is Mark.
Did Tommy write this movie?
Oh my God. Well, no, wait. Let me rephrase. Okay, so originally, in the first half of the movie, Brian is Johnny.
Okay.
And Doug is Mark.
Yes.
Now,
at this point,
no. Brian is Mark. Because he is knowingly fucking over the thing that he wants.
Yeah, you're right.
He is fucking over Jordan, who Jordan at this point is Johnny, because they're like, they want to be together and stuff.
Yeah.
They're friends.
Oh, I see.
I'm using it as the friends analogy.
No, I see it.
Johnny to Mark, friends.
Yes.
Not supposed to fuck each other over, but Bonnie is like the Lisa who's fucking with everybody.
Everybody, yeah. But she doesn't mean to like Lisa's dumbass.
It's dumb. So he fucks this up. And he goes back to New York, but he's going back to New York with Bonnie.
Yes.
Apparently, she's got shitloads of money. Maybe they work together, and you know, he could tell her his business ideas, and maybe that's how he can get off the ground. Maybe that's how he can become a millionaire.
Yeah.
He can, like Doug, marry himself into money, and then he won't have to worry about it too much, and he'll have an easier time, maybe a more privileged time to get his stuff out there and start a business. But Bonnie constantly gives him the runaround, drags him to these awful parties.
They're boring.
Awful. She treats him like a coat rack at one point.
Yeah. And then
it's
she's all
really
depressed.
mean.
Yeah, it's pretty. But
it's dehumanizing.
Yeah,
it is. It's evil. And he's not having that no more.
It's obvious that she's better than him in that case.
Well,
the way she's acting.
Yeah, the way she's acting is all high and mighty.
For real. I don't mean for real.
That's the thing, is she's acting all high and mighty and such.
Yeah.
And acting like they're not equals in any way. She is clearly the better. And Brian's kind of done. He doesn't give a shit.
No.
He missed out on the one thing that he thought he really needed, which was Jordan. This awesome person.
Yeah, she was the coolest character in this movie.
Yeah. So he's kind of bummed. He meets up with Doug again because Doug had told him when they were in Jamaica that, just watch, you'll come and work for me. You'll come see me again.
He did say that.
He leaves Bonnie. He has nowhere to go because he was living in her place. And he goes back to Doug's bar, and turns out Doug's fucking packing, man.
He's doing good.
Doug's got an amazing establishment. He's got one hell of a bar. He's got a private boat. He's got thousands of dollars worth of liquor.
He's got everything that our buddy Brian wants.
He's got everything that Brian wanted, except that Doug has nothing.
Oh, that's right.
Doug opens up to Brian and basically says, like, I should have been smarter about everything, like you were. He says, you know, I spent it all on extravagance.
Yes.
Nothing on, like, backbone or anything. I just spent it on stuff. But nothing to further the business. Nothing to further the bar. It was just, I could get this and this and this and this. He became insanely materialistic.
Yes, he did.
Because he basically was the chaotic version of Brian.
Yes,
where
he was.
If Brian, you know, really escaped and just let all his inhibitions fly, that's what would happen.
Yes, it is.
He would marry into money, do whatever he wanted, and you know he can see that Doug is clearly not having a great time, and you know he kind of it's pretty sour. You know, it's kind of sad.
It is.
That
Very
like,
much
and
is.
you really want like Doug to come around again, and you know he passes out. They've been drinking the entire time on the boat. Passes out, and Brian decides he's going to go and pay Jordan a visit. He wants to go find her. He wants to make things right. And he goes to find her. Turns out she's living at some like
little studio,
some super rich penthouse.
No, she wasn't living there. She was.
Oh, he went. he knows where her apartment was.
Yes.
And
which
went
is like
there.
a boiler room.
Yeah, it's like some basement, like artist boiler room thing.
Yeah.
Goes in there because they've met previously, and he goes there, and she's not there. And her roommate, or no, her next door neighbor, hears Bryan banging on the door. He's like, I need to find Jordan. Do you know where Jordan is?
Yeah,
and she's like, yeah, she lives at her parents' house at 123 4th Street, Popcorn, Indiana Drive. Just go there.
Like,
this random person, this neighbor, just gives whoever
that neighbor
is knocking,
her.
or probably whoever's knocking on her door, just
frantically, no less,
gives them their parents' address. What? That's insane.
You don't do that?
That's insanity.
I give everyone your address.
But anyway, I guess this was a good portion. It gets the movie rolling at least.
Finally.
Because we're screaming towards the end credits at this point.
Yeah, do I have yelling, and more yelling?
We're going to speed this through because there's a lot of bullshit that happens towards the end of the movie that doesn't really matter. It's a lot of back and forth.
Yes.
Bryan meets with Jordan again because he knows that she's working at a diner.
Yes.
They talk a little bit. Jordan, rightfully, dumps a shitload of food on him because go fuck yourself.
Yes.
They meet up again because they really need to talk about the stuff that happened in Jamaica. They do talk again. Jordan tells Bryan that she is pregnant and fuck you.
Yep, you don't get to see this kid because you're a piece of shit.
Yep. And Bryan says, did you just bring me into your apartment just so you can kick me out? She's like, hell yeah, I did.
Isn't that amazing?
Good for you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself. I love it.
Destroy that motherfucker.
I love it.
So then
got me so pumped.
That's what happens like directly before him meeting with Doug again and then going on the boat, him getting trashed, explaining all of his downsides.
Yes.
And stuff like that. So now he goes back and he wants to find her, goes to the apartment, knocks on the door.
Yes.
Neighbor comes out, tells Bryan her parents' address. Bryan goes to the parents' address, which is this super fancy penthouse.
Marble, everything.
Millions of dollars worth of marble everywhere. It's fucking nuts. And he meets with her dad, Dick Mooney.
Who is a dick, but rightly so because you hurt his daughter.
Yeah. The dad does not care for him one bit and actually offers him $10,000 to get away from his daughter.
That's all his daughter is worth?
$10K. That's all she's worth.
Here's the rest of my money. Never come back.
Bryan basically shows Jordan, look what your dad thinks you're worth to me.
He threw him right under the bus.
Look what your dad thinks you're worth to me. $10,000. That's it. You think I'm all about money? You think I only care about money? And he tears up the $10K, flicks it to the ground, and says, that's how much I care. I don't give a shit about it. I just want you. And he leaves.
Now, I want to say something. He, when he brings up the check and he says, that's all he thinks you're worth. I don't care. I hate this movie.
But this is where it gets good. It finally gets good at the last 10 minutes.
You're right.
Because after he leaves Dad Penthouse and he's pissed, he's going to go back to Doug and kind of like get back because he wants to help him get his feet back on the ground, you know, and maybe get the business idea back, Cocktails and Dreams, you know?
Bring it back into existence.
And he goes to the boat and in true Doug fashion, has a drink
in his hand,
a cigarette, and he blew his fucking brains out.
Straight out the back of his fucking head.
Straight out. But he did have a drink and a cigarette.
I need like a smoke and a beer.
Every other scene he is in. And I wrote in here, he did kill himself. We did find out that he does kill himself.
Yes.
But right away I was like, murder?
That's the first thing I wrote. Murdered? Yeah, I have that too.
And he basically leaves a very heartfelt note, basically saying like, don't do what I did. Don't fuck it up, man. You were the smart man. You did everything correctly, and rightly so. I have to get the last word.
Yes.
And kind of like does gives him like the little bit of oomph or push to get Bryan to like really realize his dreams, realize what he wants.
Yes.
And what he wants is he wants Jordan.
He wants
no
Doug
matter
back.
What. He wants to get Jordan back. And he wants to open up Cocktails and Dreams. And that's exactly what he does. He goes back to that daddy penthouse. He tells Jordan, let's go, baby. I love you. I don't give a shit about nothing. You're awesome. And she goes, okay. And then they leave.
Just like that. And she's like, bye,
Dad
Daddy.
hates him.
Yeah. And
Dad hates him, absolutely, to the point where he yells to her, you're cut off from the family. Basically excommunicating Jordan from the family. She gets nothing. And Bryan, before the elevators close when they leave, says, good, that's how I want it. I don't want you in my life anyway, or in our life anyway.
That's, yeah.
Basically telling him, get bent. And it kind of flashes to a couple years forward. And it turns out that Bryan got his dream. He opens up his bar, the Cocktails and Dreams. He's got Jordan. Jordan is pregnant.
With what did you say? You said before we knew, but what did you say, Chris?
Twins.
And what was she pregnant with, Chris?
Twins.
Huh.
Wow.
Chris, my notes say this. I hate this movie. More drinks, kissing, and nothingness. Married already. And then I have yelling, and more yelling. This movie sucks. Now a poem about an unborn son?
Yeah, I have. Here's my couple of notes right away. Daddy Dick cuts off daughter. Tom Cruise and Jordan go to Uncle's bar to celebrate instant marriage. Tom Cruise opens Cocktails and Dreams. Dream come true. Crowd wants poem. Because, of course, we have to have another poem.
No, that's when they boo it, isn't it?
Yeah, I have there. Tom Cruise says that he has a poem about a newborn baby. And everyone goes, boo!
I love that. That was awesome.
And he says a stupid-ass poem, exactly the same kind of, like, fantastical whimsiness as we've expected throughout this entire thing. And he leans into Jordan, says, I'm going to be the best dad for our baby, be it son or daughter. And she says, it's twins. The end!
And then he flies away in an airplane again.
Yep, for Maverick. Exactly. Then he leaves and he goes to Army again because he got called into war. Fuck
to
this
be the
movie.
best dad ever.
This movie...
I hate this movie so much.
Really fast. The first half of it... Okay, no, I take that back. The first 30 minutes are okay.
Yeah, you're
then
wondering.
It gets worse.
Well, then it just planes
slower.
off and does nothing.
It gets slow. It gets boring.
Yeah, we need to fill space.
Yeah, like there's far too much. I threw my thing.
Yeah. Chris legitimately did throw it down, like I did when the movie ended.
There's a lot of, like I wrote earlier, there's a ton of montages. Like all the bar scenes where you see Tom Cruise and Doug or Bryan and Doug doing their bar dancing and stuff. It's just constantly like, here's a radio hit for the full length of the song.
And by the way, the full length of the song is one drink. You get one drink per song in this bar.
Yeah, they both make a drink for each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Dumb.
But there's not a lot of like true movie stuff outside of these stupid montages. Yeah. Like the only real stuff that happens, you can boil this down very quickly to Bryan Flanagan comes home from war, wants to get a job. He wants to be a millionaire.
Yes.
And then he starts working at a small bar and through hard work wants to create his own, has a falling out with his friend, goes to Jamaica, makes a shitload of money, comes back, opens his bar, and there you go.
That sounds like a decent plot.
Main beats are all hit. You could still have Doug dying, but cut out a lot of the like weird montage stuff.
Yeah. That movie was a montage.
Yeah. There's a lot of like weird montage stuff that needs to get cut out for this to kind of be better. But I don't think even then you would be able to manufacture a better movie because if you're missing those scenes, they do have context.
No, I understand, but
it's still like they're not fun context. It's just kind of like dragging on.
Like, I guess the problem with this movie seems to be that the whole plot of the movie or the whole main point is such a subpar idea. It just there's nothing. It's here's an idea.
Are you saying it's not totally entertaining like Jeffrey Lyons says from sneak previews?
I thought it was electrifying, but...
Well, it says electrifying on the back, but that's not attributed to anybody. This has quotes on the front saying totally entertaining. Were you not entertaining?
No.
I wasn't either.
No.
I think the best part...
Was the end credits?
Well, the best part of this entire movie was probably the first time they did the bar dancing.
Yeah.
But that's it. Then they did like 2 or 3 more times, but then nothing else really came close to feeling that good because everything else is just like boring made for TV movie feel.
So it was that and the match.
Yes. The match is the other coolest part of the entire movie. That
takes the cake.
That is pretty sweet. Everything else I do not care about. I did not care about it. I thought this movie kind of sucked. I don't think this deserves a 9%. Cause here's the deal.
I don't know.
Star Odyssey, aka Metallica, aka Space Odyssey,
better.
aka Seven Silver Knights, aka Crimson Planet or whatever. That was like a 2 point something, wasn't it? It was like a 2.3.
Yeah, that was super low.
Out of 10, it's a 2.3. So if it's out of 100, that's 23%.
Okay,
we're saying.
So this
has 9. Is this movie worse than Metallica?
Maybe because it has a highfalutin actor who just the movie didn't produce anything good.
We don't know if Metallica had low-falutin actors. We don't know if they're good. But is this movie? Forget about The Room for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Is Cocktail worse than Metallica? The movie that has 40 minutes of silence. Which would you rather watch? Cocktail or Metallica? It's a tough choice. I would watch Metallica over this movie. Because at least Metallica has funny sounds, but the characters of Metallica suck.
I agree,
but that's not this show. We're The Room, better or worse than The Room.
Okay,
I just think that Metallica is better than Cocktail. I just want to make that
Metallica's better than Cocktail, which means that this movie is obviously worse than The Room because Metallica was worse than The Room.
This movie is worse than The Room.
And if it's worse than Metallica, that's a sad excuse for a movie.
Yeah, this movie is not. It's not good. It's bad.
At least hold on. At least the drinks that are made in this movie are better drinks than the ones in
the drinks look good.
I'm saying it's better than the one made in The Room.
The Scotchka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It definitely has better drinks than The Room. Better sex scenes than The Room.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Better dialogue than The Room. But overall, worse story.
Yes.
I can't stand the story. I think the story's worse in this movie.
Yeah.
Much better acting.
For sure.
I won't discredit the merits because Tom Cruise doesn't do a bad job being a confident narcissist. Doug is fun.
It's basically taking the best someone who's good at this. Here's this. This plot can only be taken so great.
That's English. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so good an actor can be with shit material.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was. Yeah.
You can act the shit out of really bad writing, but it's still bad writing.
Yes.
So I think that's definitely the fault of there are a lot of really good actors. I like Tom Cruise in a chunk of movies. I do like The Outsiders very much.
Yes.
I like I thought the Mission Impossible series is a fun action, ridiculous set of movies. Edge of Tomorrow.
That one was pretty neat.
Tomorrow? Oblivion?
Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. That was good.
Yeah, that was fun. Cool.
He's got some good movies. Nothing beats his cameo in Tropic Thunder, though, where he's like this fat... what is he? He's like a talent agent or something.
I don't even remember.
It's one of my favorite cameos of Tom Cruise for sure. But final call. Worse than The Room for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't think anybody would argue with that.
Somebody might.
Let's score it though. So if The Room is 5 stars and we go to 0 to 10, I would say this is a 2.5 star movie. I think it is not. It could have been worse. This could have been worse.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because Money went into this.
But having better dialogue, wouldn't that help bring it up a little bit?
The dialogue was fine. The story
That's what
sucked.
I'm saying having that because it had better dialogue.
Yeah, bring it up to like a
room.
4-star movie. Still under the room. But I think I would say 2.5 stars out of 10. If The Room is a 5, this is a 2.5. It's half as good as The Room, I would say.
I'm gonna go with a 1.
Okay.
Here's why. There's nothing that The Room has more plot driving scenes than this movie.
I have breast cancer.
Dude, that scene's better than any scene in this movie to me, except the match or the.
I'll show them. I'll record everything.
Wasn't there a moment like that in this movie?
Why would you cheat on
where
me?
we said, is he gonna pull a Tommy with the audio? I don't remember.
We may have, but I'm blanking on a couple of things that we said while we were watching the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely this is a worse. I'll concede to your 1 star.
Okay.
1.5.
Well,
1.7.
All right, I'll give you it.
That's half.
I'll give
That's
it
halfway
to
between two. Okay, it's a 1.7 star movie.
All right, I'm with
Watch
that.
at your own risk. It's an hour. It's an hour and 3 minutes. That
By
is
the way,
way too long.
you are
for
not
this.
allowed to take a break. You have to watch the whole movie. No breaks.
Man, yeah. Once you hit the halfway point, this movie really hurts.
It's like banging your head on a wall. You didn't just run into a wall. You just keep hitting
Why
it.
does this movie have an R rating?
Didn't there tits?
Are there?
I think we saw her tits.
Were there
once.
boobies?
I think once.
No, that was in Beaks. In Beaks, we saw boobies. We didn't see boobies in Cocktail. Oh, we saw side boobies. There was side boobies in one of the vacation montages. They swim by a small waterfall, and she under the water takes her bikini top off.
Right.
But we never see nip. It's only side boobie.
Then would the language have something to do that throughout the movie?
Maybe violence, booze, alcohol use.
For sure. Yeah, there's a lot of it too.
And the suicide at the end, death.
Okay,
it's fair enough.
Yeah, we'll give it to
him. Okay, fine. I'll concede to your R. But yeah, that's it. This movie, not good. Not good.
1.7.
Not very good. 1.7.
My final thoughts. Fuck this movie.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna put it back on the shelf, and we'll never watch it again. Just like Video Game Nightmare. And all the other trash movies we've seen so far.
I'm going to have to ask. That wasn't one on our that you got from us, was it?
No, I had this.
Thank God.
I already had this.
I don't think anyone in our family would have wanted to watch that movie.
Yeah, I'm probably never going to watch this again until somebody demands it of me. But that's it. That is it for Cocktail.
Chris, you're going to watch that movie again
I'm going to watch it immediately the moment you leave. I actually have it downloaded already, and I'm just going to watch it on 500 times speed and absorb it. I'm going to watch it before I go to bed every night. I'm going to watch it during my lunch break.
Subconscious
I'm going to make a 24/7 video. You're going to
become a great Maverick bartender.
I'm going to be able to recite the entire movie whilst watching Maverick at the same time on the opposite screen.
Dude, that'll be amazing.
And then I'll be able to intermittently go back and forth between Top Gun and Cocktail.
I'll be your talent agent because you are going to go places.
What if Tom Cruise made cocktails inside of the cockpit of a jet plane?
That would be amazing. What if they remade this movie now?
That'd be awesome. If Cocktail was remade now, who would you get
the demographic?
to play? Yeah. What demographic? Who was this movie made for?
I was thinking about that earlier. So what was the demographic? Like 21-year-olds who can just drink now? Who?
Well, because it's like a shitty love story, but it also has to deal with bars and Jamaica. I don't know.
And there's another shitty love
was made for. I don't think we'll ever find out.
That's okay. I'm okay.
But I'm
with
okay
that.
with I'm okay with that. So that's it. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you guys tuning in. Everybody out there.
Thanks for sticking
if you did
with
find
us.
it, thanks for sticking by. If you like this, subscribe, like it, spread it around, share it.
Yeah.
We would truly appreciate it. We're trying to get this channel to grow a little bit. Obviously, we're not doing too much marketing or anything like that. We're trying to get I want to get more episodes under our belt. I want to hit like 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to find how to put this out an audio medium only.
Cool.
That way it'll be both a video
that would
and
be awesome.
audio. That way if you're only into listening, it'll be on, Spotify or whatever. I'll try to find out some things. But yeah, I appreciate it. If we also do some video game stuff on the side. for funsies. It's all for funsies.
And what's
Even
that
this is
called
on
again?
funsies. Struggle Through Gaming on YouTube. We'll have a link in the description if that's your jam. Here's a sneak preview of next week's movie, because I'm excited for you to watch this because I've seen this multiple times.
Okay.
But I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
The McPherson tape,
The
aka
McPherson
UFO abduction. You'll be happy.
Ooh.
It's short.
No, that's okay.
It's only
I
around
like,
40 minutes.
but it already sounds better than everything else we've
After this hellhole of Cocktail, yes, this is going to be a walk in the park.
The McPherson tape. I may have heard a little bit about that before.
It's possible you have. It's a movie that that's made the rounds.
Okay.
It's kind of... I don't want to spoil anything.
No,
We'll talk about it next week.
Yes, we will.
Or actually, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah,
We're
that's right.
trying not to do every week just because, we have busy schedules and we have struggled through stuff that we want to do also. So rather than getting too bogged down and getting burnt out for any reason, we're doing every other week. So two episodes a month.
Which will also make it easier for everyone too, if you're caught up, which would be pretty easy at this point.
Yeah.
You can go to Struggle Through in the meantime
You could.
and back and forth if you want. It's a lot of fun.
But if you're anything like me, you probably have like 10 other podcasts that you listen to, and some of them that I listen to are bi-weekly, and it does help you catch up with other ones.
Yes.
And then after a while of not listening to it, you can binge a couple episodes. That's what I like to do.
Me too.
I just finished up the Adventure Zone Ether Sea, which was
cool.
like 44 episodes, and
Okay.
I like blasted through the last half of that in like 2 weeks or so.
Nice.
Oh my God! Excuse
That
me.
was
That
a
was like a
big one.
hiccup and a burp.
I
That was
liked
very
it.
strange.
A hiccup.
Yeah, but I like binging through podcasts and stuff, because if you
sure.
like one episode, you want to hear one afterwards. So I totally dig that. But until then, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I love you.
We love you.
Blast off.
Woo!